Content warning. This chapter contains sexual content, explicit scenes, and mature themes intended for adult readers. Viewer discretion is advised. If you prefer to avoid explicit romantic content, you may wish to skip this chapter and continue with the next one. Of Hannah Montana. Or Aurora and Sheree's attempt to remember as much of Hoedown Throwdown as possible. I'm not sure how Aurora managed to convince Duke to let her play the song. But given that he's decided to actually take some of the night off with us guys for once, I don't think he cares. Besides, he seems to be enjoying watching the two girls make fools of themselves as much as the rest of us. Still, the whole bar feels more vibrant than usual tonight. Nothing but contagious laughter and ecstatic conversation flowing around us. Maybe it's always been this way, but all I know is wherever Aurora Jones is, life seems a hell of a lot brighter. Just like the last 2 weeks have been since the previous trial run ended. I've never been so stupidly excited knowing I don't have to make excuses to see her or touch her anymore. Instead, I get to wake up to her beautiful glowing face some mornings and finish work on other days, knowing I can come back and listen to her beam about her day before making her come, apart screaming my name later that night. The best thing about Aurora is that she reminds me there are more than enough reasons to wake up smiling each day. Not just because of her, because I know what can happen when you base your entire happiness on one person. Though she's definitely 99% of those reasons, especially when I've got my face between her legs, or she's on her knees for me. But because of the way she lives every bit of her life to the fullest, like how she savors every mouthful of food and can't wait to tell me about how delicious it was, or how every time she jumps into bed, she loves running her hands over the soft sheets, relishing how they feel, or how she always stops to watch every sunset while listening to me tell her all about my day, and how she's constantly finding ways to touch me, even if it's just a brush of fingers against my back, like she's making sure to appreciate any time with me. It makes me feel worthy more than I ever have before. It gives me just a little bit of hope that perhaps I've been wrong all these years, that maybe some things can last forever. When I'm with Aurora, the self-doubt that creeps up on me when she mentions long-term goals for the ranch, wondering if she'd really want this life forever, is a little bit easier to bat away. It makes the road ahead look slightly straighter, as opposed to the rocky path behind me, and it makes trying to be the version of me who lets himself dream about our future without fear easier. I'm shaking my head at Aurora dancing as I sip my beer, but I know right now she's so consumed with joy that she doesn't care what other people think, which is exactly how she deserves to live her life because her soul is goddamn golden, even if sometimes her brain doesn't always remind her of that. Even if I didn't realize it at first either. Still, I can't help but notice since the first trial run of the retreat went well, I haven't had to help talk her out of as many small attacks of anxiety like she's had before. She's been eager to tell me every time she's managed to get some new ideas down about her book, not so afraid of it anymore. Breathless from dancing and the endless silvery laughs ringing from her strawberry lips, Aurora flops into the booth beside me, Cherry jumping in next to Duke on the other side, immediately dropping into conversation with him and Wolfman. Aurora doesn't hesitate to press up against me, her heat spreading over me, scorching my skin. I don't like that it makes me freeze for a second, aware that there's so many other people around us. People I went to high school with that like to talk and haven't even tried to hide the way they've been eyeing up Aurora all night. Probably wondering what she's doing with me, how long she'll stay around before. Wait, no. That was the old version of me. I'm supposed to be next level me who believes in myself. For her. Aurora's hand slaps down on my thigh, pulsing against my muscles, so blatantly and unashamedly marking me as hers as she bats her lashes at me. Then she brushes her fingers along my jeans, making me flinch when they trail just a little bit too high. I shoot her a wild glare, feeling the heat creeping into my cheeks and other places. I don't need her teasing me when we're surrounded by people, when I'm already wound up because I've been seething every time a guy has checked her out tonight, which has been a lot since the ripped denim shorts and lacy white crop top hugging her body are leaving very little to the imagination right now. And that's torturous for me, given that I know exactly what lies beneath. The paradise that just a few layers of clothing could reveal. Aurora bites down on her grin, reddening her lip as mischief dances brightly behind those hazel eyes. Fuck, I want to be the one biting her lip, her neck too. And breasts, which I've realized I'm now staring directly at. At least have the decency to not eye-fuck each other in front of his little sister. Sawyer's head pops between ours, knocking me out of whatever lust-filled trance Aurora so easily had me in. I throw my scowl over to meet his shit-eating grin as he arrives at the booth with a dark-haired woman he must have picked up on his trip to the bar. He lets her slip in first next to Cherry, who seems to recognize her, and they start chatting. Aurora's fingers dig into my thigh once more. Before she announces, "Be back in a second, I need the loo," and bounces up from the booth. I watch her walk away for all but 5 seconds before I'm also climbing out, stating that I'm off to the bathroom too. No one seems to take much notice, all in that perfect state of inebriation when their awareness doesn't spread far beyond. Whatever conversation has them enraptured. Except for Sawyer, who perks an accusatory brow, beer bottle at his mouth as he jests, "Wow, so subtle. Can you really blame me?" I admit as I pass, knowing he's only goading me, because this is the kind of thing I'd be ripping into him about. God knows he's done it in his fair share of bathrooms. Luckily, it doesn't take many strides to catch up with Aurora. "Hold up, princess." I grab her wrist as we round the corner towards the bathrooms, spinning her into my clutch. Her hands land on my chest and quickly wind round my neck, rosy cheeks framing a dreamy smile. One that says she knows exactly why I'm here. One that makes me second-guess who the mastermind behind this plan actually is. "Damn, I think I might have met my match. You took your time," she teases. I don't even care who is looking when I steal a kiss from her before edging us further down the corridor. We slip inside the end toilet, and I thank God that Duke he refurbished it. Decided to put individual unisex toilets into the bar when the lights flick on, raining fluorescence over Aurora's golden skin, making it gleam where a light perspiration still clings to her from dancing. I plan on making her shine even more. I want her glowing with sweat and orgasms. Hands clasped behind her back, pushing her chest forward, Aurora backs up into the door, watching me with anticipation of when I'll strike. But I'm still taking my fill, drinking in the sight of her, despite my aching cock straining against my jeans. Licking my lips, I perch myself on the edge of the sink. "Take off your shorts." Aurora lets out one of those breathy giggles that I adore. It's a little slip of the innocent side of her, but the sparkle in her eyes that accompanies it tells me that she's excited, eager to dip into that dark, sensuous part of her, the one that shows its face in each of her hidden tattoos. Tattoos I plan on running my tongue over tonight. She starts to unbutton her shorts but turns around, bending over as she drops them, giving me the perfect view of her ass. I barely hold back a hiss when my body tenses with agonizing arousal. When she snaps back up, she flashes me a smug grin over her shoulder. Eyes stay locked with mine even when she shimmies her black thong over her hips, letting it drop to the floor. Such a little tease. I stalk towards her, gooseflesh covering my skin when her giggle escapes again. But there's trouble behind it this time, the tone slightly deeper. Keeping my touch light against Aurora's skin, I trail my angers over her hips, up the sweet curve of her waist, until they're tucked beneath her top. I lift it over her head, letting the floor swallow up her clothes as I cup my hands around her breasts. She presses her ass up against me, starting to grind with a sweet moan. The heavenly sound forces me to spin Aurora around with sheer desperation. I want her delicious whimpers drowning out any other noise. Crashing my lips against hers, haul her up into my arms, her legs instantly circling my hips. When I force us back against the door, she angles her head so that I can take the kiss deeper, letting my tongue sweep in, lapping up the sugary taste of her luscious mouth. Her teeth skim my bottom lip in between kisses before sinking into the flesh, tugging until I'm groaning with shuddering pleasure. "Condom?" I ask in a breathless whisper. My bag she barely manages back. Hands sunk into her soft-ass cheeks, I squat down to grab her bag, then move us over to the counter where the sink sits. Legs still draped around me, barely letting me push my jeans and underwear down, Aurora grabs the condom. While I pull off my top, she wraps her fingers around my length, giving it a few unbearably slow pumps before working the condom over me. I'm going to have to really hold it together, if just her tight grasp is already driving me crazy. With another urgent kiss, full of brutal hunger, I ease Aurora back, giving me the space to run my cock between her wetness, letting her need coat me. I press the head against her clit, making her body jolt and eliciting a gasp when I circle it around. I want to tease her more, coax her into begging for me, but she looks so goddamn divine right now, freckled face drawn in with irresistible, body sore, Ned, hazel eyes ready to roll. All I want is to make her so. I snake my hand around her waist and slide my cock through her center, groaning at how soaked she won south, gently easing myself inside her. Oh my God. She sucks in her breath, and I don't think I'll ever get tired of the sound of her gasping for me, the feel of her slick heat as she stretches for me, the sight of us joined like this. God, you fit around me so well, princess. I breathe out, reaching to rub my thumb over her clit. The pace of my thrusts increases, invoking louder whimpers from Aurora each time. She's taking it so well, hands braced on the sink behind, breasts on full delectable display. But I want to feel more of her. Hands around my neck, I demand, and Aurora quickly obeys. I wind my arms under her legs, allowing me to take her at an angle that feels so goddamn deep I might just fall into oblivion. Especially when Aurora moans out my name against my neck, her hot breath making my skin tingle. Every one of my senses is lost in her. Her reviving scent, her quickening breath, her fingers digging into my shoulders as I thrust harder and deeper. "Play with yourself for me," I command, my voice hoarse from my shuddering breath and feral groans of pleasure. "I want you trembling around my cock." She nods frantically as she licks her fingers, then starts circling them around her clit, immediately moaning louder. The hot slap of skin against skin echoes through the bathroom with each punishing thrust I unleash on her, frantically desperate to soak up as much ecstasy from her tightness, while pleasuring her to a point of no return. Fuck, I can already feel my release racing towards me. I'm so addicted to being inside her, I'm not sure I can stop. Not when her eyes are fluttering and her legs are shaking around me. She's the kind of high I'd chase for eternity. God, Aurora, you're so fucking incredible, I say, pounding into her harder. Her eyes shoot open, locking with mine as her face quivers, strawberry lips parting to let out a heavenly whimper. It's all I need to let go, and my orgasm hits me, making me drive into her brutally one last time, pressing my forehead against hers as I groan. We're both trying to catch our breath, lips inches apart when I lean in to kiss her, slipping myself out. I trail my lips across her jaw, her neck, sucking on each tender spot, before I'm dragging my tongue down her chest. I take one of her nipples in my mouth, rolling my tongue around it. Then it's running over her butterfly tattoo, down to where grateful is scrawled on her hip, until I'm at her clit. Gently teasing and sucking, I thrust 2 fingers inside of her, curling them so I can stroke exactly where she needs it, the responding twitch of her body telling me I'm there. Aurora's fingers sift through my hair, grasping and pushing my head down until she's basically grinding against my face. Knowing how badly she wants to come, how free she feels to demand it from me like this, is so fucking hot. "Fuck, Wyatt, don't stop," she lets out in a broken whisper. Her mouth stays open, silent moans escaping, eyes scrunching closed harder by the second. Can feel her sweet body tensing around me. Even her hinkers are tightening in my hair. Her legs start to shake around my shoulders, and then she's calling out, back arching up. She's trembling as I continue to devour her through the orgasm, wanting her to know that I'll give her every ounce of pleasure she could ever ask for, and that I'd give up everything for the opportunity.